What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. That's another win for your Phils. Another win as they dominate the New York Mets and win by a score of 9-3. Ranger Suarez was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. 12 strikeouts, a career high, 6 innings of shutout baseball. Really good stuff by Ranger Suarez. Excellent stuff by Ranger Suarez. There were a little moments where his command was definitely a little bit all over the place, but he battled down. He bared down. He did his thing. Even more than his thing. He got into his bag tonight, and that was a very good performance by Ranger Suarez. Bullpen, they allowed a few runs. Granted, they weren't from besides David Robertson, who allowed the solo shot. Banks allowed a run. Lazar in the ninth, when the game was completely out of hand, allowed one run. So, do I really even factor those into the ball game after the Phillies really, just put it out of reach? Probably not. Probably not. So, great win. Kyle Schwarber finally hits his 50th home run on a huge 3-run shot. Inning was actually extended by fantastic hustle from Bryson Stott to leg out an infield single that Mark Vientos, I guess, was taking too long to get the ball out of his glove to throw it over the first base. Great hustle by Bryson Stott because he doesn't get on base. Bader doesn't single right after him, and Schwarber doesn't hit that Schwarbomb. And just fantastic stuff. You even have Bader with another 3-hit day tonight. Otto Kemp gets into the action with a solo shot. Probably would have been a 2-run shot if Stott didn't get thrown out at second base trying to steal, but then Bader followed that up with a back-to-back solo shot. So overall, just very good stuff. They got to Sean Manaea early in this game. Nick Castellanos with a 2 RBI double with 2 outs in that bottom of the first inning. Then you get those back-to-back home runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. So just fantastic stuff from the Phillies today. Really good stuff, especially, like I said, for some reason, the past year and a half, they've really struggled against Sean Manaea. They finally solved Sean Manaea in tonight's game, and thankfully for that. And Ranger Suarez stepped up big time. So you got a huge start from Aaron Nola last night, and now you got a huge start from Ranger Suarez tonight. Really just keeping the Mets in check, and that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. You keep the Mets in check. Most important thing right there. You kept them in check. Now, have a chance to win 3 of 4 within the next 2 days, with Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo on the mound tomorrow. Tomorrow it's Jesus Luzardo, tomorrow's Christopher Sanchez against Clay Holmes, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's Luzardo against Peterson, which I believe is a rematch of Sunday Night Baseball from a couple of months ago back in Philadelphia, where Luzardo dominated and the Phillies scored a bunch of runs off of Peterson. So you have set yourself up pretty nicely to win 3 of 4 in this series. Now you take it one day at a time, and you have to win one of the next 2 games. That's the most important thing. Even though I said coming into this series, knowing the circumstances that you had going into it with all of the injuries, with Trey Turner, with Alec Boehm, with, now Brandon Marsh with the flu. That's 3 main guys in your lineup out of it. You have to play guys like Otto Kemp. You have to play guys like Edmundo Sosa. Then you have to force Nick Castellanos into the lineup and all that stuff. Same thing with Max Kepler and everything. You guys found a way. You guys found a way. And they're finding a way right now. And you're putting yourself in very good position. So now, your goal, win 3 of 4. Even though I did say circumstances coming into this series, I would have been perfectly fine with a split. But now you have a chance to put your foot down. And win 3 of 4 in this series. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Win 3 of 4 in this series, and then basically winning 3 of 4, I guess you could say, supplements the division, because after this win, you have a 9-game lead now in the division. At worst, it goes back to 7 if somehow you lose the next 2 games, and if you win 1, lose 1, it goes back to 8, and if you win the next 2, it goes to 11. So, basically, really not bad. And now your magic number for the NL East is down to 9, and if you win one of the next 2 games, it goes down to 7. So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Take care of the Mets, put them away, to where they have to stress for that wild card spot because the teams are still creeping up on them, like, Giants, Reds, all those other teams that are really neck and neck with each other. So you keep doing this to the Mets, that makes them stress a little bit more for that final wild card spot, and it gives those other teams a little bit of juice to, maybe screw the Mets over. And even though I don't think the Mets play any of those teams the rest of the way, the Mets still have a pretty tough schedule going down the stretch after this series with the Phillies. So it doesn't get any easier for the Mets. It really just doesn't, because they play Texas, I believe, the next series. They go to Texas, and hello, Shoko. And she is gracing her presence with you guys right here as she just woke up. So hello, Shoko. Are you excited? Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. But yeah, the Mets, they play Texas. I forget who else they. I know they also have like Washington and Miami on their schedule as well, but they've struggled against those teams this year. So you can't even like say that's an easy series for the Mets because they lose 3 out of 4 to the Marlins not that long ago. They lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals at some point a few weeks ago. So it's not really the easiest ride. I believe in terms of like if you go through like the toughest schedule the rest of the way, I think the Mets were like up there within like the toughest schedule the rest of the way in Major League Baseball or something like that. So it definitely does not get easier for them. And I think the Rangers are actually, they're playing the Brewers right now, and I believe they won yesterday, but they are tied 3-3. But the Rangers, they still have some of the best pitching numbers in Major League Baseball. And for a Mets team that's very inconsistent offensively, uh, might be a very tough series for them right now, and they're struggling against the Phillies pitching with Aaron Nola, who has not been good this year. Aaron Nola stepped up big time, and Ranger Suarez, who is starting to find himself once again. He has been pitching very well in his last 4 starts, so those guys are doing their job. And now you got Christopher Sanchez, who I think wants some revenge for the way that he pitched last time in Citi Field against this Mets team. I'm sure he wants some revenge there. Same thing with Jesus Luzardo. So these guys are definitely going to be amped up. These guys are definitely going to be pissed off from what they were last time in Citi Field. So Mets gotta they gotta be ready. And so far they have not been ready for Ranger Suarez nor Aaron Nola. So that is very good. And your team has come to play. You get the 1-0 win yesterday, and your offense shows up tonight, which is very nice to witness. Very nice to see. Proud of them. I'm definitely proud of them. So, if we look throughout today's game, just going to the stats, because why not? We like to look at stats here. Ranger Suarez, 6 innings, only 1 hit allowed. He did walk 3 batters. His command did get a little bit all over the place as the game progressed, but that's still him bearing down. That's still him going through. He had 12 strikeouts in today's game on 99 pitches, lowering his ERA to 2.77. Like I said, he is finding himself again, so that is very huge for this rotation. David Robertson, he allowed the home run to Mark Vientos, but then he settled in after that, retired the next 3 batters. Tanner Banks, he did allow 3 hits and 1 earned run. He bared down. That was still when I believe the game was... No, the game wasn't really out of reach. No, that's when the game was really out of reach at that point. And then Lazar comes in for that 9th, allows 3 hits, allows a run to score. So it's the back end of the game. I'm not really going to harp on that whatsoever. Definitely not. And then if you go through the process of this game, you go to that bottom of the first inning. Harper with a 2-out single. JT gets hit by a pitch with 2 outs, so you get first and second base for Nick Castellanos. And down 1-2 in the count, he lines a ball into the left field gap for a double, scores 2 runs, puts the Phillies up 2-0. Then you go to that bottom of the second inning. Stott did single, but then he got technically picked off because he was going. Minaya then threw over the first. Stott was actually called safe on the throw, but you could tell from the replay that he was out. Honest to God, I could tell in real time that he was out. It was just like, ugh, go, boy, stupid base running predicaments right here for the Phillies, of course. But then Kemp, solo shot. Good for him. 3-0 Phillies. Then Bader, solo shot. Back-to-back. Becomes 4-0 Phillies. Love to see it. Love to see it. Ranger Suarez did strike out the side in the top of the 4th. Soto, Alonso, and Vientos. That was fun to witness. He got into some trouble in the top of the 5th. Nimmo with a single. Marte then would have eventually grounded to a double play. Then he walked back-to-back batters with Alvarez and McNeil, but then he managed to strike out Siri to end that inning. Top of the 6th, had a 1-2-3, struck out Soto and Alonso once again. Bottom of the 6th, Phillies go down 1-2-3. Robertson into the game. Vientos hits the solo shot to get the Mets on the board. They were eventually going to score. But then you go to that bottom of the 7th. Stott reaches it on the infield single. Bader with a single. Schwarber. Schwarbomb. And basically at this point, the bullpen guy that came in for the Mets, he was basically taking one for the team. I think he pitched the rest of the game, if I'm not mistaken. He threw like 70-plus pitches, so it's definitely a day at the office if you're that bullpen guy. But Schwarber, that's finally, hopefully that takes the monkey off his back. Hopefully that just lifts a little bit of weight off of his shoulders after finally getting the 50th home run, and maybe now he could start going off again. So that would be very nice over the next few games, especially going into the next, a couple of series away with the Dodgers. That definitely would help if Schwarber can just find a way to get hot right here. And he's also the second Philly in Phillies history to hit 50 home runs in a season. Do I still think he can catch Ryan Howard? He still has time, but he would have to get like insanely hot for that to happen. So I just really don't see that at this point. I think he finishes like just near it or something like that if he does get hot again. So, but good for Schwarber. Good for Schwarber. He desperately needed that home run to get off the schneid. Really desperately needed it. They get the RBI single in the top of the 8th with Juan Soto against Tanner Banks. It became 7-2. He eventually got out of that. Bottom of the 8th, the Phillies added more runs onto the board. Edmundo Sosa with a double. Stott with an RBI single. Kemp reaches in on an infield single. Bader with an RBI single to make it 9-2. Then they scored a run off of Max Lazar. He eventually got out of the inning. You win the game 9-3. Look at your offense. Offense had 13 hits. Harrison Bader in the leadoff spot today. We're getting weird. He did fantastic. He was 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a solo shot in this game. Bader has been something since acquiring him from the trade deadline. He got off to a very slow start when he came here, but really ever since then, he has been flat out fantastic in the field and in the batter's box. This dude is just electric. He brings swag. He brings a different vibe for this team that definitely looks like they're elevating a little bit off of that as well. So it's definitely been a huge pickup for this team. And maybe, this is no discredit to Harrison Bader whatsoever, but also maybe we all have Stockholm Syndrome just because we've been so used to terrible center fielder play to where we just get a major league caliber center fielder. We're just like, oh my God, this is the best thing in the fucking world. And like I said, this is no discredit to Harrison Bader because he has been fantastic. But it's just like we've been like witnessing for so long of bad center field play with a center fielder in Johan Rojas that can't hit major league pitching. He's not a major league caliber hitter. Even though he could play good defense, he's not a major league caliber hitter. We had the witness of Odubel Herrera for fucking so long. Then they did put Brandon Marsh in center field for a little bit, but even though Brandon Marsh has been, very good for a little bit here this season, it's just like the overall course of a Brandon Marsh. He's not like a full-time starting center fielder. He's more of a corner outfielder. Harrison Bader is a legit center fielder, and he has been fantastic for you. And like I said, we've been witnessed to so much bad center fielding for so long. It's just like we finally got the golden goose here with Bader. Honest to God, I don't want him to leave. I would raise a blank check him right now. Give him whatever he wants. Give him whatever he wants. I take that any day of the week because he has been fantastic. Look at his numbers. He's batting .279. 355 on base and a 465 slug. He's been fantastic for you. What are his numbers since coming to Philadelphia, actually? I want to see those. Because, like I said, he got off to a slow start, but then he's really picked it up ever since. I want to see his numbers since coming to Philadelphia. Let's see. So, I'm assuming this is not including today's game. Unless it is, I'm not entirely sure. He's batting .320 with a .389 on base and a .500 slug for an .889 OPS. With 11 RBIs, 3 home runs, 9 walks, an OPS plus of 142. He's been fantastic. He's been fantastic. And he also plays a very good center field as well, so man, good stuff. Schwarber goes 1 for 5 with his 3-run shot. Harper had a solid game. He had 2 singles in it. JT Realmuto, he was this close to hitting a home run. This close. I believe making it like 5-1 or 5-0 or something like that. That close to hitting a solo shot, just stayed foul right by the foul pole. Just stayed foul, so that was like, that sucked. But he also got hit by a pitch in this game. Nick Castellanos 1 for 4 with the 2-run double that he had in the beginning. Edmundo Sosa 1 for 4 with a double. Weston Wilson went 0 for 4 in the game. Bryson Stott had a fantastic game. He went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Otto Kemp had himself a very solid day at the plate. 2 for 3 with a solo shot and also a walk. So very good there for Otto Kemp. Phillies were 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. So very good right there. And just overall a very good game. Overall a very good game. 2 very good games right here. 2 very good wins. And like I said, now you set yourself up for basically only needing to win one of the next 2. You have Christopher Sanchez on the mound, and you have Jesus Luzardo on the mound. Luzardo, who has been pitching a lot better lately. And like I said, Christopher Sanchez, who has been very good for you this year, and I think also wants some revenge against the Mets for how he pitched in Citi Field last time. So, you're in a good spot. You're in a very good spot. Now you have that 9-game lead in the division. Your magic number's down to 9 as well for the National League East. What's their magic number for the, to just clinch a playoff spot in general? I'm not entirely sure, actually. Not entirely sure. So now they're 85 and 60. That's 25 games above 500. The Mets, they're 76 and 69. That's like, what, 7 games above 500? So if we just look at the overall standings right here, the Dodgers did win last night, so nothing really changed there. So still you are, if we go to the league standings, you're still 4.5 games above the Dodgers after tonight's win. We'll just see what happens when they play the Rockies later tonight. Most likely, I would assume they win. If they do lose, it goes to 5 games. If they win, it goes back to 4. So you're basically just in square one at that point. So yeah, you're just controlling your own destiny at this rate. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. In terms of the National League, what's with the Padres and the Dodgers? The Padres and the Dodgers, they're still fighting each other for that first place in the National League West. Padres are only a game behind the Dodgers, and both those teams have been struggling. But they've both won. Dodgers have won 2 in a row. The Padres have won 3 in a row, but they're both like 3 and 7, 4 and 6 in their last 10. And the Giants, they're still fighting for that wild card spot. So let's look at the wild card standings right now. So with the Mets' loss, Giants are now 2.5 games back of them for the 3rd wild card spot. The Reds are 3.5 games behind them. The Giants, I believe they don't play until later, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they just started against Arizona. I think they won yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They did win yesterday. So they're definitely fighting right there. They're going to give the Mets a run for their money for that final wild card spot if all things, go the way the rest of the season. But the Giants do have a lot of games against the Dodgers, which could really help the Phillies out as well. So that definitely helps in that process too. Let's see. I want to see where are the can I look at playoff tracker? Just so I can see magic numbers and all that crap. So I can see magic numbers. I don't see magic numbers. I don't see magic numbers whatsoever. I don't see magic numbers. No, I'm not seeing that. Can I look at MLB magic numbers right now? Numbers today, magic numbers. Playoffstatus.com, MLB magic numbers. Can I see? Can I see what the Phillies magic number is? Is this even updated at this rate? Where are you at? Where are you at? So this is not updated, obviously, from today's game. We all know they're 9 games away from the division NL East magic number. I would like to see if I can get some here. Just some stats here on that fact. I don't think I see anything right now. I don't think I see anything. No, I don't. This is not showing me anything. Nope, nothing's showing me anything. Unless there's like a specific like Twitter account that does it. There is. Okay. So. Nope. Magic numbers. Nope, nothing's really saying anything. All I know is your magic number for the NL East is 9. That's all I know. That's all I know. I would like to just see the magic number for a playoff berth. That's what I would like to see, even though it's probably small as well. Not entirely sure. But, yeah. Overall, very good stuff. Very good stuff from your Fighting Phils. Very good stuff. We did get a text from, like, right It was like very early in the game as well from Austin. He did leave 2 text messages actually. So this was like right after Nick Castellanos' RBI double, and it said, "I know it's just the first inning, but I hereby submitting my Nick Castellanos apology form." And then he texted following after the game, "Still sick, so I won't call in, but this game had everything I want from a playoff team. Thank you, Phillies, for soothing my pain. This looked like a team that wants to win it all, keep the Mets where they belong, and the rest will fall into place. Great effort by the team and also by you, Amadeo, for getting all the content out so quick. We appreciate it here in South Jersey." Well, I appreciate it from you tuning in when you're sick, Zach. Hopefully you do feel better very soon. Hopefully you do. Also just trying to see if there's anything else here. Of course. People want to bring up the tweets, right? This is from Tim Kelly. "From a Phillies Mets perspective, it's good for the Phillies that they won today. Had they lost, they would have been up 7 games over the Mets with 17 games left to play." That's, going back to 2007 where the Mets had a 7-game lead above the Phillies with 17 games left to play, and the Mets completely choked that. And the Phillies went into the playoffs and won the National League East on the final day of the season. So, I guess for all things considered, yeah. All things considered, that's really good. It's very good. What else is there? Let's see what else. Rangers Suarez tonight is the 7th time a Phillies pitcher had at least 12 strikeouts in a game this year. Only in 1997, Phillies had more of those 12-plus strikeout games in franchise history. Interesting. 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 What else is there? Nope, I don't think there's anything else. Kyle Schwarber, just the 2nd player in Phillies franchise history, 143-year history to hit 50 home runs in the season. Just the 34th player in MLB history to do it. Schwarber now has an MLB leading 123 RBIs, one of the best offensive seasons in Phillies history. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That is crazy, though, that Mike Schmidt never had a 50 home run season for all the home runs that he hit. That is crazy. I don't think there's anything else, though. We do have a call here from Zach, so I'll get to that in a couple of seconds right now. But overall, very good stuff. Very good stuff. No, don't think there is anything at all that is from tonight's game. It was a very good game from your fighting Phils, taking care of business against the Mets, and now they set themselves up to win 3 of 4 one of the next few days. So, let's get to this one voicemail here from Zach, and then we'll get to you guys in the chat, which is mostly Zach and Franco. And then we'll be off for the rest of the night. Let's get to it.
Now that's what I want to see right there. You got the Mets on the ropes. Just fucking pound them into submission. Don't even make this a question. This division is over, baby. Beat those motherfuckers the next 2 days. Get that magic number down to 5. And this looks like a team with real, I don't even know what the word is for it now. They have urgency, okay? Ranger Suarez just gives you a beautiful game today. 12 strikeouts. I mean, you had Bader, you had Kemp, you had Cosby early. This lineup was good top to bottom. Missing Trey and Bone. Look, I'm not going to put a ton of stock into it being against the Mets. Because, yeah, they're not that great. But Manaea gave him trouble last year in the playoffs. So to beat him up a bit, that is nice. And then Kyle Schwarber breaks out of his 20-game slump, home run slump, and just fucking nukes one. Oh, my God. That was beautiful, man. That was just, you're not going to fucking beat us tonight. We're taking this division, baby. That's what I see it as. Now, I know you got Trey and Bo Mountain. Boy, that is a big loss. But maybe this team can just find something in themselves. They're going to play for their guys. I know they might not have it at the end of the day. That might be what gets them. They just don't have enough talent perspective. But right now, against division opponent at home in the huge series, this team is playing with stones. They're playing with fire, piss, and vinegar. And let's keep this thing rolling, baby. Let's win fucking 95, 98 games, Phils. I love it. Go Phils, baby. Peace.
Definitely always love the calls from Zach. But yeah, I would say at this rate, yeah, the division's probably over at this point. But why not cement it even further by winning, one of the next two games? But still, I'm not gonna full send of sweep. I'm just not gonna, like I haven't said. I said that yesterday. I said take it day by day, take one game at a time. You win today, you guarantee the split, and then you focus on winning tomorrow. Then if you win 3 or 4, then you could focus on sweeping on Thursday. That's the way I take it. That's the way I go. And you do have, the pitchers to do it over the next 2 days. You definitely do. So it's a very good thing here for the Phils. It's a definitely very good thing here for the Phillies that they're doing this. So, just a last quick thing from Twitter, and just see what's going on here. No, there's nothing much on Twitter, so we'll get to the chat. And then we'll be on our merry way tonight and wait for Brodes to post his recap. Hopefully, he doesn't get to it as late as he did fucking yesterday. Please. Hunter, I know you're not watching this. Get to your fucking recaps earlier. Please, for my sanity. Still love him, though. Still love him. Radko, yeah, I knew you were at the game tonight. Thank you for using my code. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal, don't pass it up. Just a little bit of it down there below your screen. It's right there. It's right there. Right there. Use it. It's a great deal. That was huge to kind of settle them in, Kemper and Bader with the home runs. Oh, yeah, that was nice. Franco blessing the Phillies with his presence. What else? 100% agree with you, Zach. This division is over. Tonight was special. That was from Austin. I'll always like Nick, but he's been atrocious this year. Yeah, definitely looks like that. I called Nick slow yesterday. That's what the apology was for. Then he hits a triple yesterday and a double today. That's funny. When does Brodes even sleep? He has 2 kids on top of all of his podcast madness. I think most of the time, when he's done recording, he's done posting his stuff. He just says, "Okay, stuff's up." Blah 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 blah. He probably goes and lays down after that. I would assume the man sleeps. I would assume the man at least is in bed by 1 in the morning. Hopefully, even though the dude still wakes up early as fuck. I don't know how that dude functions. He does drink a lot of coffee though, so that's probably why. The dude still wakes up at like 7, 8 in the morning. I'm like, dude, you can't be posting this late, man, and then expected to go to bed and wake up early. That's not how I function, at least. That's not how I function. I need at least 8 hours. At least 8 hours. I cannot function off of 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep. I just can't. I just can't. I don't drink caffeine. Well, I do. I drink soda, but I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. So I can't I can't run like that. I can't run like that. Oh, man. My mic is cutting out? Interesting. We good now? It's probably because I had the volume up too high. Probably had the volume up too high, if that was the case. Ugh. Good win though. Good win though for the boys. And the Giants are already up 3-0 in the first inning after a Willy Adames 3-run home run. Oh, man. Well, if it's for your stream, Zach, we'll end it off. So, I appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. With the YouTube algorithm, you can also use the code TTPSports. $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. So, we'll be back tomorrow after tomorrow's game, the results, and everything like that. So, thanks guys for tuning in. I will